5,000 birthright participants descended upon Tel Aviv this week, which claims to connect diaspora Jews with contemporary Israeli culture. Shelby Weiner has more.
Birthright Israel has grown to become the single largest student travel organization worldwide, bringing 550,000 young Jews from over 60 countries to visit the Holy Land. As the summer begins, these young vacationers are beginning to flood the country. But these aren't ordinary tourists. A new initiative is plugging in international students to daily life and business here in Tel Aviv.
Our participants get to meet with icons of the Israeli startups industry, the high-tech. They meet with very successful entrepreneurs.
The organization is working to broaden the global awareness of Israel's growing and glowing high-tech scene.
I think that the level of awareness is much lower than the reality. Israel, for example, is #1 in the world in terms of startups per capita. The young participants that come over are not aware of it.
And the experiences on Birthright can be key for impressionable postgraduates. The introduction to the country's vibrant startup ecosystem comes at a pivotal time for their budding careers.
And I think that it really is a telling story that such a small country can create such an impact internationally. Just an example, something like Intel or something like Waze, things that we use every single day from New York all the way to China and back, and coming to kind of its home place and where it was founded is really an exciting opportunity. Not only from a living perspective, but from a business and from an entrepreneurial perspective.
Introducing young Jews to Israeli startups bridges the gap from the religious history to the technological future. And the narrative of Tel Aviv's startup miracle grows a little stronger with each Birthright visit.
On set, we have Lee Green, CEO of Kepler, a firm dedicated to connecting Israeli innovation with Chinese capital. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Lee, let's start with Birthright. You spoke to the participants. Why was it important for you to speak to them?
Well, I think with Americans, it's important to get the message across that it's more than just the news in Israel that you see in the United States with the conflict and politics, that there's actually a thriving ecosystem of brilliant minds producing great technology in the country.
All right, well, tell us about your company.
So what we do is we connect between Israeli innovation and Chinese capital. A co-student of mine in my MBA program in Tel Aviv University, we began working on ways to connect the two countries. And what we found is that there's a lot of inefficiency that's currently existing in the process. So we decided to use the greatest tool around, the web, to try to connect these cultures in a more meaningful and efficient manner.
All right, well, your fund recently raised some $400,000, an impressive amount, from China to invest in the tech ecosystem here. Tell us about that.
So actually that investment is to help us generate the technology necessary to further the investments that are going to be advertised on our platform.
All right. Well, where do you see the future of the China-Israel relationship?
So China is kind of as important as any other country that Israel currently deals with. I think that they're going to be the largest trading partner with Israel in the next 10 years. And keeping that in mind, we need to take whatever action necessary to improve our relationship with them on a business level and have them be comfortable with investing here and visiting here and be comfortable with the technology that's coming out.
Tell us more about the niche of your company.
The niche, the China-Israel connection?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've seen a lot of difficulty because Eastern and Western business cultures are so different. And even though Israel isn't exactly it's a unique business culture, and it takes some time to get your arms around that. I think it's important for us to focus on how to make Israeli business culture and Chinese business culture fit together. And
by some accounts, it seems like they get along quite well. After all, this is a bit Eastern. This is the Middle East, so there are those Eastern elements.
Sure, but the Chinese culture is a bit more patient than I think Israelis are used to dealing with. Deals take time, deals can fall through, last-minute changes can come in, whereas in the West, when you have a deal, when you shake hands, usually it's done. So there's a lot to learn from Israelis who want to enter the Chinese ecosystem. It's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of effort from a lot of very smart people in the country. But the rewards are massive. The market in China speaks for itself. And as soon as the technology is developed in Israel, people are immediately looking towards other markets. You develop a technology in the States, your market's there. In Israel, you need to be looking somewhere else when you're developing a product.
Certainly, all about global scale. Thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome.